Welcome to our first live. Yes, we are live in the flesh, even though I'm on the other side of the planet, here on If You Don't Agree, You're Wrong. I'm VHS Chase, and right next to me, of course, is the star of the show, Jason Roy Gaston. How are you, sir?
I am great. And yes, I am the star. And if you don't agree, you're wrong.
Well, you are wrong, but we'll play that game, won't we? We have so much to talk about this week. There is a ton of stuff to
so
get
incredible
into.
amount.
You're keeping me busy, Jace. I've got to say that.
Yes.
You know?
It seems like every other day I'm messaging you saying, we need to watch this. Watch this.
I know.
You
I know.
This
and it's
will be destroyed.
It's good. It stops me from watching, reality cop shows. So, because that's what I end up doing. Anyway, we're not talking about that garbage. We got lots of great stuff to talk about. Let's get into it, Jace. Lower Decks.
Lower Decks.
Lower Decks.
That sarcastic Vulcan salute.
Yes, a Lower Decks this week, Jason. It was an interesting one for sure.
In the Cradle of Vexilon. What an incredible title, I have to say.
Well, as we do, we should explain how this all works, mate. So what we're going to be doing today is we are going to be we've got our stopwatch there.
Oh my goodness, it's huge.
It is huge. It's going to be running. We will have 2 minutes each to comment on these episodes of the show. So, and of course, if we don't like it or we love it or we're not indifferent about it, we'll be rating it at the end of it.
Absolutely.
So, Jace,
we should introduce them to our animal friends.
We should really, because they're our guys, aren't they? First off, if we love something, what is it, Jace?
It's Roo-rific, and we have our friend. Did we ever name this guy?
I think I was going to call him Dazza.
Dazza,
because that's very Aussie.
Yes, his
Dazza the Kanga.
Pastimes is watching great things and leaping out unexpectedly in front of cars.
That's the croc. I mean, if we don't like it, it's a croc. And
yes,
I haven't named, I don't think, the croc yet.
He looks like a Murray to me. Murray the Croc.
Murray the Croc. Yes. Murray's a good Aussie name. I can go with
that. Murray the Croc. Yes, he doesn't like things. His pastime his pastime is spent trolling MAGA websites and generally complaining about the state of things. Usually, it involves Gen Z. He doesn't like Gen Z.
Yeah, bit of a COVID denier as well.
And eating dogs that try to drink water. Because how dare they?
So we've got the 2 degrees, Jace. If we love it, it's Roo-rific. If we hate it, it's a croc. But what if we're in the middle? What if we're a bit, we've got this little fella here.
Oh, the koala of apathy.
The koala of apathy. And that's his name. I think that's his name by default now. So
yes, the koala of apathy.
Meaning he's busy doing other things. He don't care about this. Why are we wasting his time?
I like the name Koa, C-O-A, koala of apathy.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I think we'll go with it, mate. You're the star, so we'll go with whatever. All right, look, we've had our fun. Lower Decks, mate. New episode coming in. This is episode 3 in the Cradle of Vexilon. So I'm going to throw you under the bus, and I think I'm going to give you 2 minutes to get this party started. You ready to go, mate?
I'm ready to go. Bring it.
All right, give us your review in 2 minutes, starting now.
So, In the Cradle of Vexilon is a story about computer repair and learning to trust your peers. I really enjoyed certain aspects of this episode, while other parts of this episode struck me as tried and true, and are we really doing this? I'm going to start with the parts that I didn't really care for, and that was the Boimler story, in which Boimler had to learn to let things go and trust his subordinates. How many times are we going to see the trust your people job and delegate? I just feel like we've been given that so many times, and I'm actually a little disappointed that Lower Decks gave this to us. Now, it was funny. I do like the fact that they put Taylor in this episode, because Taylor's like my favorite background character, the Kazenti guy. And of course, Tavin, the Vulcan, hilariously deadpan, and I loved every scene she was in. On the Cerritos, we have the remaining 3 lower deckers getting hazed, and that was a lot of fun, particularly the fact that we get to see Rutherford speed run the entire episode of Deep Space Nine's Move Along Home, which was an extra special treat. And then the weirdness, the cherry on top of the Lower Decks cake was Captain Freeman trying to fix the Vexilon computer. One, it's refreshing they came across a computer that is not evil and trying to kill them all. It's just kind of wonky and messed up, kind of like my laptop that I broadcast off of, and you know that's true.
That's true.
I just thought it was funny. I loved the weird scenes where the planet was, I don't know, the one scene where the clouds froze and fell from the ground and shattered. I thought that was the funniest thing because it made absolutely no sense from any angle, but Lower Decks just don't care. Overall, even though I was disappointed with Boimler's story, I found the entire episode a lot of fun. And the fact that they kind of blow one storyline, it's okay, another one's coming. I'm still giving this one thumbs up because Lower Decks is Lower Decks, and Lower Decks needs our respect and our support. So I'm giving it a roo-rific.
That's a roo-rific from you, Jace, for this episode. All right, well, I better have a crack at this, I suppose. So let's reset the clock, and I'll give you my opinion on this episode of Lower Decks. As an ex-IT person, there is nothing more frustrating than upgrading operating systems, so I certainly had a lot of sympathy for the captain. Look, it's a good idea, but I do agree with you. I do think it's territory that we have gone through before, except the standout for me has got to be Ransom, doesn't it? It's got to be how his character has developed so far this season. It's been wonderful. I feel like we're getting these great storylines with Ransom in one aspect, and then we're seeing a degrading of another character in Boimler who seems to be not really doing anything fantastic this season except being a Warner Brothers version of Boimler. So that would be my only criticism for it. Of course, the standout has to be Rutherford's run through the long way. The dismissive nature of every puzzle he had to go through made me sit back and think about Deep Space Nine and going, you know, if they went with that strategy and maybe just didn't care about it, they probably would have done well. But no, that's what Lower Decks is, isn't it? It's that love letter to everything that we love about Trek, and the fact that they are brave enough to, make fun of some iconic episodes. I don't know if it's iconic in a good way, but those episodes we all recognise is fantastic. Look, honestly, I don't hate the fact that Boimler had to prove to his ensigns like how to be a leader. It's just like it's a bit of the apathy bear for me, the bear of apathy, the koala of apathy. So yeah, that's where I stand on it. A good episode, not their best episode of the season. It sat between the line of being and thumbs up, but I'm still going to give it a roo-rific. That's where I land on that one, Jace. So
the real question I have is, since Rutherford was so good at speedrunning Move Along Home, that's got to be something like they do here, where people speedrun Zelda or Mario just to see how fast they can get through it. And I'm wondering if it's like a competitive sport at one point. Like, how fast can you do Alamarain, come with me, Alamarain, you will see Alamarain, you'll come with me, whatever that is. Alamarain, Biscuit, Alamarain, 1, 2, 4, I don't know.
If you're talking about speed running, though, isn't it kind of like maybe they had one of those hacks, like guys you could see behind walls and that, because he was very efficient all the way through.
Yeah, I'm wondering if he could glitch through a wall, or if there was some kind of bug in the system that he could just skip everything. Like, oh, we don't need to do the party. We can look. I can run through this wall. Neat.
I could watch a whole show just on Rutherford, to be honest with you.
Me too. Just Rutherford doing stupid stuff. Yeah,
he's so optimistic and so smart at the same time. His enthusiasm is like a shining light.
Yes.
I'd want to bunk with him because he's always optimistic.
Yes.
Absolutely. All right. Well, we're not finished.
Working on warp coils in the middle of the night would get really boring and old, especially if I'm trying to sleep.
True. We're not done with Trek yet, Jace, because our next thing we've got to talk about is the little mini-series they've been showing us. Very short treks, mate. And we've got a third one has busted on the scene. So I'm going to start this one, and I'm going to give you my opinion on the third episode of Very Short Treks. This was really made for a 7-year-old boy. I feel very much this version of it. I like the idea of it. They go down to do first contact. Obviously, Jonathan Frakes reprising his role as well as Gates McFadden, so it was wonderful to hear their voices. But they go to meet a new species, obviously, and it's all around boogers. So the 7-8-year-old me, actually, let's be honest, the 35, maybe even 50-year-old me loves booger jokes. So it was very puerile. It was very infantile. I don't know if I absolutely hate it. Don't know if I loved it. But, yeah, it was a lot of substance to it. But, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll go and have a microwave fish later. Who knows? But that's where I land with it. It's getting another bear-roo-rific from me. Barely a roo-rific episode. That's where I landed, mate.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Here we go,
no.
buddy.
Oh, no.
If you don't agree, you're wrong, remember? So, here we go, dude.
I hated it.
Oh.
I hated it. I'm so sorry. I hated it. Here's my problem. I have no problem with being infantile and puerile and juvenile and all the other aisles. I have absolutely no problem with that. The only thing is you just got to be funny. And to me, it was not funny. I kind of chuckled a little bit whenever he stuck out his hand and was gonna shake their hand, because I thought it was gonna be something simple like that, like, oh yeah, I don't want to shake your hand because you got a booger on it, and that's gonna mess up first contact. But they just kept going, and the moment that they showed the entire room covered in boogers, I just thought, oh, this is where we're going, and it just got worse after that. I might have given this episode a bear of apathy had it not been for them literally blowing snot onto the cooked fish, because at that point it literally became the worst of Ren and Stimpy. I'm talking like Spike TV adult party cartoon Ren and Stimpy, where it's just, let's make this as gross as possible without any substance. No, I love the fact that Gates and Frakes came back to do this. I'm on a first name basis with Gates, but not Frakes. I love the fact that happened. I'm kind of wondering why the third guy that they were with didn't say anything. Who was that supposed to be who couldn't make it to the studio that day? I'm thinking it was Spiner. I don't know. But I just couldn't. I couldn't like this one. I tried. I thought get into a good headspace. Couldn't do it. I'm gonna have to give this one a crock. It was just too much. I didn't like it. And if you don't agree, you're wrong.
Well, I don't agree, so you are wrong.
But you don't agree with me, so you're wrong.
Hey, look, at the end of the day, I think the expectations
we need the
this...
emu of aggression, just an emu giving the finger.
Yeah.
There we go.
I think at the end of the day, Jace, I don't think you're going to get... I think they set the precedent. Put it this way, the last shot of that previous episode, the last frame, is Spock holding a broom ready to stick it up Hemmer's backside. That's the level of comedy we're at.
No, he was not going to stick it up his backside. He was going to, 8-ball in the side pocket with it. It was, I'm going to injure your genitals now. That was funny though. I laughed at that, even though it was basically, nutshot humor. I thought it was funny. The boogers were just not funny. I think that if they'd been done in a slightly different way, like I said, if it was just the hand and just, oh no, it's okay. Let's do this. Okay. And if he did that and it was like spread between the two fingers, I'm like, maybe that would have been fine. But it just, no, sorry. This one it was just not funny. And that's the biggest thing. It wasn't that it was gross. It was just, it was not funny.
Oh, well, mate, look, you know what? Let's say hello before we move on to this. Say hello to a few live viewers who are watching us.
We actually have people watching?
We do.
No one told me that would happen.
We have Nita from our Sci-Fi Queens.
Hello,
Hi, Nita.
Nita.
Thanks for watching. Love this. Yeah. We have
Nita,
Jamal.
you to show up.
Now, I believe this gentleman did set a message in YouTube one point asking what time. Well, you figured it out, buddy.
Well,
this is where it's
here.
on.
Hello.
Thanks for watching.
Absolutely.
Love seeing you. Nita and both Jamalia. I hope you're saying your name, mate, right? So your name right. Otherwise, I'm Australian. I can barely talk.
Yeah, just blame it on
They
him.
both Nita and
Dazza.
they love the name Dazza. Dazzy.
I like the name
Dazzy,
Dazza. This is great.
There you go.
It's a great Australian name.
And we've got a question here by Nita going, where is Very Short Treks shown? I didn't see it on Paramount or its different platform.
Why? It's on the trashiest platform ever, and that is YouTube. Right, it's just here. Just Google it. Yep. It's on the official Star Trek account. And it's,
exactly. Star Trek.com, and you'll be able to check it out.
Yeah.
Thanks,
and
guys.
It's 66% great.
Well, I don't know. You weren't a huge fan of the last one either, I don't think, were you?
I wasn't a huge fan of the first one, but at least that was moderately like, ha. This last one was just, no, it just
All
wasn't
right.
funny.
Well, let's move away from Star Trek, and now let's go kick it into DC World with another episode of Harlequin.
Yes, Harley. The
Harley,
season finale, by the way.
It is. I was just
Yes.
about to mention that. And, there you go. Episode 10 already. Episode called Killer's Block.
Yes.
So, Jace, are you ready to talk about what you thought about the final episode of the season of Harlequin?
Yes, let's start that clock, please.
Let's do it.
Okay, so Harley Quinn continues to be just an absolute jewel in DC's crown that I don't think DC really wants, to be honest. They keep trying to cover it up with masking tape, but it just keeps shining through. And it's so great. My godson is here visiting me right now, and I sat down and watched Harley Quinn with him, and he's never impressed by anything. But as we finished watching this, he was like, that is a funny show. That's probably my favorite interpretation of Ivy right there. And I have to agree. It is. I love this interpretation of Ivy. I love this interpretation of Harley. I love that these characters learn and grow, because that is what this show has been about from the very beginning, is Harley trying to become more in touch with who she is, and Ivy trying to figure out who she is. And they do it through a mirror of women trying to find equal footing with men, and that's never been more obvious than it has been this season, which to me has been kind of a detriment, because I think it's a little bit too on the nose, but it's forgivable, because this incarnation of Lex Luthor is probably my favorite incarnation of Lex Luthor ever. He's absolutely hysterical. I love the fact that it all devolved into an evil plan, which, because let's face it, that's what we expect from Lex Luthor. And just it's all just wonderful, goofy, fun. I really, really hope they get another season, because I just feel like there's so much more story to tell. I'm hopeful that they will, because we do have the Kite Man spinoff coming up. So I'm hoping that will necessitate another season of Harley Quinn, because I know that from the previews, Harley and Ivy are in that show as well. But not the best finale that they've done. I do think that they've done it better, but certainly a fun episode, a great episode. On a scale of 1 to 100, I would give this one about an 82.3. So that would give me a Dazza-rurific right there for Harley Quinn.
Rurific. Fantastic, mate. Well, I'm going to give you my opinion what I thought of this episode starting now. Look, at the end of the day, I thought the MVP of this episode really was Lex Luthor. I actually really dug the iteration where he was, had got all Superman's powers, and it was just this, and it kind of matched with his ego, because it really is Lex. It's all about his ego, which is wonderful. But let's face it, this whole season is really about. It really is a little bit existential for Harley, isn't it? It's her trying to come to peace with the place she is in life, and this episode ties that up. So I thoroughly enjoyed it. My biggest criticism is that the seasons are too damn short. It could have done with another 3 episodes easily, I think, this season. Whether I notice you questioning whether we're getting another season. I'm assuming we are, because of the setup of the Gotham City Sirens at the end of this episode. So I would suspect that we're going to definitely get that. But, money talks. So as for Poison Ivy, I agree 1,000% with your godson. It's the best iteration they've done so far. So a good, solid episode. Superman had to put the moon back together. So what can you get? It felt very Richard Donner for some reason that moment. But, very cool. Did enjoy it. Wish there were more. And knowing that we're probably going to have to wait, another year and a half to get any more, I'm a little bit sad too. But overall, it's definitely a Dazza. It's definitely a rurific episode. And a really, really good fourth season. Fourth season?
Yeah, fourth season, yes.
Which is incredible to think, because I didn't feel like yesterday, Jace, that this was just starting.
Unleashed on the world, yes.
Yeah. So,
Yeah,
very satisfied.
I really, they do have the cliffhanger at the end, and it does seem like we're getting a 5th season, and it's a good thing that HBO Max has never made any kind of bad creative decisions that have screwed over creators
Yep.
or the
Not at all.
viewers. So
Not at
yes,
all.
we can trust the good people at Max.
Absolutely. To maybe not. Well, you know what? We could give Denis Villeneuve a call. I know he's got a good relationship with HBO Max now, Max. So we can go from there.
Oh, can't hurt.
Inside Baseball. Read that one. Okay, let's move on to something a bit more science fiction-y, Jace. And that is, well, very controversial on the show already. 3 episodes in. We haven't had great things to say about this show so far. But I'm talking about Futurama, of course.
Now, I do want to say Futurama is one of my favorite television shows of all time. I love Futurama.
I know it is for you.
But this season has not been great.
Well, I am. I'm going to give you my opinion on what I thought of it first. So here we go. It was called The Prince and the Product.
Yes.
Where's this episode been? Where's this storyline been? Because this really rocked me when I was watching it, because I'm watching the storyline that seems very vanilla. Leela gets, smitten by a prince. But then it goes into this esoteric, short anthology segments, which are powerful on their own, and each one has a emotion attached to it. Each one feels quirky and unique and plays off of things from the past. I adored this episode and went, this is clearly the best episode of the season. And I had to watch it twice, Jace, because the way they pitch you in to these little anthology little stories is based upon like old-timey adverts. Like, this is brought to you by, and it's wonderful. It's wonderful. I especially love the little robot ones. I love that. I love the cars one as well. But all of them will be really great. I hope this is just the beginning of a late run for this series, and we're going to get nothing but better and better and better now. But such a difference. I feel like this was the best script they had so far in the season, and everything else has been filler up to this point. But that's where I stand on it. It's a wonderful episode. I'm so happy to say, as a Futurama fan of the past, probably not as much as you, that I did enjoy this very, very much. And Dazza, you're busy today, mate, because that's another horrific.
All right.
So that's where I landed, mate. So
let's do this. Come on. Do it. Start that clock. Start it right now.
Start the clock. Here we go.
Start the clock. So the Futurama anthology episodes are terrible. They really are. And whenever I found out that this one was going to be an anthology, my heart sank. I was like, oh, it's going to be another bad episode. But no, I was just drawn into this episode with the very first fake commercial break. This is the Futurama that I love. It's science fiction, high concept, and very weird. Plus, as someone who loves toys of the 1980s and before that, the bringing in the Weebles and the rubber ducks and the Matchbox cars and the wind-up toys, that's just right up my alley. I love it whenever things are just reimagined in such weird ways. Like, what would it be like if everything in the world ran on, winding them up? And what would it be like if rubber ducks and Weebles went to war? Boy, say that 10 times fast. Weebles went to war. Wow, I'm talented. I love this episode. I adored this episode. This could have easily fit in with Futurama's peak. And I'm like you, I really hope that this signals the upturn. Maybe it was just a little awkward getting into writing this show again, and maybe they just had a rough start of it. I know we've only got one more episode this season because a streaming season can't have more than 10 episodes. That would be ridiculous. But I'm really hoping season 12, whenever it comes around, is every bit as good as this. My heart is light. I've got a smile on my face. I feel like my old friends are back to full strength. And for that, Dazza gets another thumbs up for Futurama.
Beautiful work, man. Beautiful work. It was so different, I thought.
It was.
Yeah.
And
even in the those little kind of bits. My favourite bit was also that Zoidberg was jealous. So he was the Gates.
That's me, Zoidberg. I love Zoidberg.
Zoidberg is the guy.
I think the part that I laughed out loud a bit was whenever Wind-Up Bender died and like melted and then came back as a plane and immediately crashed and died again. It was just so unexpected, and I laughed out loud. And I think that's the first time I've laughed out loud at Futurama this entire year. You know, I've kind of done that. I've done the a couple of times, but that's the first time I've ever busted out laughing.
It was emotional when when he saves when Bender saves him as the wind up. It was super emotional.
I love it. It's emotional and it's funny at the same time. It was so great.
It was emotional when Fry, even though he has lost the love of his life, still goes in to make sure that she's okay and goes in to defend her honor.
Yes.
Mate, that was pretty great. So well done, Futurama. You've kind of 2 episodes now. You've done well. 2 episodes out of
Keep it
9.
up. Keep it up.
Keep it up. All right. Let's move away into a show that I have been struck and how much I've enjoyed it so far, and that is Fiona and Kate.
Yes.
Fiona, yeah, and strangely enough, Jason, because it is coming from Max, they're dropping 2 episodes at a time, right?
They are, yes.
So, and I don't know how many episodes are in this season, but
I'm honestly not sure. I'm just kind of writing it right now. I don't want to go in and just spoil how many we have left. You know, if it ends, you know, I can be surprised by it. Oh, well, it says
so. The 2 episodes we're talking about tonight are Destiny and The Winter King.
Yes, Destiny is a sequel to a really great Adventure Time episode, too.
Ooh, okay. Yeah. Well, you've kind of let it out there, Jace. I think I'll get you to start with this one, though. Fill us in on what you thought of these 2 episodes of Fiona and Cake.
Okay, so I'll just hit Destiny first. Destiny picks up with Farm World, which was, I don't know if that's the actual name of the episode, but it's an episode where we see an alternate universe where Finn gets the crown and becomes the Ice King. And that was a great episode. This was a really fun follow-up to see what happened to this world after all of that. And in true Fiona and Cake style, this is very grown up. It's a little dour. It's a little I want to say melodramatic. It's a little bit sour, I guess is the word I'm looking for. The word is escaping me at the minute. But the Finn of Farm World has kind of gone in a direction that we didn't really expect, and ends up in a way we didn't really expect. And it's a sweet little love story. It's a little goofy. It's a little corny. But at the end of the day, I really enjoyed this episode. But for me, the real meat and potatoes, so to speak, was with the 6th episode, which was The Winter King, which has Fiona, Cake, Simon meeting an alternate version of the Ice King, who is apparently good and in control of himself, and in an eternal war with the Candy Princess, who is that world's version of Princess Bubblegum. I loved this episode. Number one, the music sequence where they switched to a completely different animated style. The style was beautiful. The song was wonderful. I loved it all. The Candy Queen kidnapping both Simons and taking them away, and what eventually happens at the end was so unexpected, but at the same time made perfect sense. And it was super disturbing as well. Because, you know, you really got to where you kind of liked the Winter King, and then all of a sudden dead. What's going on? I love Fiona and Cake. I think it's an amazing show. It's an amazing miniseries. I can't wait to see where it's going next. I'm giving it a Roo-rific. I loved it.
Fantastic, mate. Absolutely.
You stopped the clock too soon. It would have hit 2 minutes exactly if you'd done your job.
I apologize for technical issues. I don't want to get fired in the 3rd week here. So, all right. I'm going to give it a crack now, mate. Give you a thoughts on what I thought of Fiona and Cake. Post-apocalyptic farm world, eh? That's what we kind of get in the first one. I liked it a lot. You know, it had Romeo and Juliet themes to it. It had, you know, a jaded Finn in that reality who's got kids, and, you know, I love seeing that. I love seeing super old Jake, poor old Jake, you know. But
at least
I liked
this one's alive, though.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. It was It was enjoyable. It was probably not the strongest of episodes, but I did enjoy it. I got to agree with you. It really is all about the Winter King. It really is about that storyline and how beautifully told it is. And the tragedy of the end of that Simon dying is what really, really kind of struck me. I feel like Scarab is a really great threat in this show. Is intimidating, is Terminator-like in his mission. I really love it. And I love seeing Fiona now blossoming into the Fiona she wants to be. I certainly love the fact that her connection with the sword she was given and the fact that the assistants, there's one scene when they turn around quickly and they go, we've got to go save him. And her eyes light up, action stuff, which I thought was brilliant. No, everything is working. I really love Cake because Cake sometimes has it. I don't know if it's this episode previous. When he gets all worked up, he can do these amazing strong punches, but not all the time. His powers are not infinite. It wears him out. So I really like that as well. Yeah, there's a lot more to say about it. The Candy Queen really being Princess Bubblegum, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. And the idea is for him to stay normal. Oh, I've got to finish it. It was a great episode.
Ah, darn! I was gonna scream shame.
Shame.
You were watching the
I
clock.
ended it. What I was going to say now, it's
glaring
kind
at
of
the clock, just like do it, do it.
I wanted to get to the point about. I wanted to get to the point about she like how the crown worked, how he stayed good. That king, but he projected all the hate onto her.
Yeah, that was messed up.
Yeah, that was cool.
That was super messed up.
Guys, if you're not watching Fiona and Cake, like you got to get on it. You have to watch this. I think it's one of those shows that's an all ages thing. I think if you're a young person, you'll enjoy it on its surface level. You're a little bit more mature. I think you'll get a lot out of it too.
Yeah,
that is really strong animation series.
I agree,
anyway,
yes.
We're moving away from animation for our final show that we're looking at in this little group here before we get to our next segments. And that is Star Wars.
We have two more.
What? Who am I missing? Who am I missing, Jace?
I am Groot.
Missing I Am Groot. Here we go. But we're going to do Ahsoka before we do I Am Groot, all right? So let's get into Ahsoka. Star Wars Ahsoka. Wow, I can't believe we're 6 episodes in already on this series. Thank you that at least 2 more to watch. Yeah, and I do believe it's my turn to have a crack.
It is your turn. Have at it, my friend.
Wow, the show impresses me so much. I don't know if it's more me just being a massive fanboy or I really appreciate the writing, even though this episode could be determined as a filler episode, it still gave us some great scenes. And, of course, the reveal of Grand Admiral Thrawn, who is being played brilliantly by one of the Skarsgårds, I believe, isn't it? One of them. One of them. There's like 17 million Skarsgårds.
Lars Mikkelsen.
It's a Michelson, so
Yes.
I'm thinking the other Mickelson. That's
Mickelson.
Completely wrong. Ignore me. I don't know what I'm talking about. But Grand Admiral Thrawn is awesome. The episode was great. I love the fact that we get to meet Ezra at the end of that episode as well, which is a huge reveal. And I'm actually really happy to see that Ezra has kept his normality as such, because my biggest question about going in was, had Ezra been corrupted? And at this point, no. Ray Stevenson's character had a lot of great stuff in this episode. Really got a good sense of who he is and what it's about. And the witches. Brilliant. You know, the sister from... they're from Dathomir, I think.
Dathomir, yes.
And one of the cool bits, mate, is the fact they go to this planet. It's not a ring of asteroids around that planet. It's the skeletons of the dead space whales. The little touches of Dave Filoni.
Yeah, it's great.
Gotta love. And me, I love good aliens. Star Wars is known for awesome aliens. And the Noddy, I love it. The rock people, love them. Fantastic. Absolutely. It's a show that, it's definitely not Book of Boba Fett. They've hit the mark with this series. They really have. And Like things, I think the series is too short. I want to see more and more and more. It's absolutely fantastic. Ahsoka rules. There we go.
Very nice.
And of
very
course, Daz is back again. Dazza, he's going to want more royalty soon because
His
he keeps
thumb is going to get
getting
really
screen
sore.
time.
Yeah.
Are you ready, mate? Give us the
I'm
lowdown on
ready.
Ahsoka.
Absolutely. So, for a show called Ahsoka, I was kind of surprised there was an episode where she was barely in it, but I really liked the scene with her and the robot, the droid, was Huyang. I really liked that scene, especially the fact that they begin their story with a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. I was just like, say it, say it, say it. Yes. Mads Mikkelsen is an incredible Thrawn. I don't think he voiced Thrawn in the series, but did he? Okay, I don't know. I was thinking it was Jason Isaacs, but okay, just seeing that voice come out of that character, just the perfect voice. I really love seeing Thrawn in live action. He's perfect. The Star Destroyer coming up, just this ruined, damaged, barely hanging together Star Destroyer with all these stormtroopers on board who look like they're honestly hanging on by a thread, communicated the desperation of Thrawn without saying, "Oh, we're so desperate, help us," because it's so against his style. I also have to echo that I'm very glad Ezra did not turn out to be like evil, because whenever the stormtrooper showed up with the gold face, I was like, oh no, 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 no. But no, it was not him. I think Dave Filoni was throwing these red herrings at us just to I'm gonna mess with them. I love the aliens. I just enjoy it. I was a big fan of Rebels. This is like getting season 5 of Rebels. The only one who's missing is Zeb and Callus, but I like to think that they're married somewhere on another home world, just raising an adopted family. And before you giggle, there's people in Rebels who actually say that's what happened after that story. So don't. Yeah. Anyway, I enjoyed it. I thought it was great. Probably, honestly, even though I did enjoy it, I do think it was probably the weakest of the season so far, simply because we didn't have Ahsoka in it. But I'm still giving it a thumbs up. Such a strong series. I love it.
Well, yep. Again, Daz is back again. Hey, that main stormtroopers, they like arcing back to like Roman helmets.
Yes.
That gold face.
I was
so
sure
cool.
that was going to. I thought that was going to be Ezra, and I was getting really upset.
You're absolutely right. That was a red herring, because it's exactly what I thought. He's become his main kind of like henchman. He's Darth Vader as such.
Yes.
But yeah, thankfully not. But yeah. Fantastic series. And if you're not watching Ahsoka, I think you're mandated by Disney law to watch it. So get on it before.
It's a requirement. If you are not watching it, Death Troopers will be sent to your door right about. Get on it. Right.
Yeah, I would. Absolutely. Well, that ends our regular episodes that we talk, but the show isn't over, Jace, because we have a couple of more segments where we get a chance.
You are bound to determine we're not going to do anything about Groot, aren't you?
Oh, keep forgetting about Iron
Gosh,
Groot.
why do you keep forgetting Groot?
And you know what? Because I don't have the graphic here for some reason. I forgot the graphic. So
that's okay. Well,
my bad. So let's reset.
Hold on. Hold on. Here we go. I am Groot.
We'll pretend that's Groot. There we go.
Ew, I am Poot. Gassy kitty.
Well, you mentioned it, mate. So you get a crack.
Oh, so I'm going to be thrown under the bus.
Yeah, you're thrown under the bus. Tell me about the second season of I Am Groot.
Yes. So 5 episodes. I'm going to talk about all of them. First episode is called "Are You My Groot?" Groot finds an egg. It's basically Groot finds an egg and decides to become a daddy to the little bird that pops out of it, and then discovers that fatherhood is a little bit too much work and becomes, as a child, loses interest in it. It was cute. Groot noses around. Groot discovers the joy of having a nose and sense. I thought it was really funny. I thought it was hysterical, especially the payoff at the end whenever he goes into his room and realizes how bad his room stinks. Groot Snow Day, it was okay. It wasn't like, it was cute. Most of these are just cute. I'm going to be using the word cute quite a bit. I really enjoyed the one it's called Groot's Sweet Treat, where he's simply trying to get money to go visit the ice cream truck. I thought it was funny. I thought the ending was hysterical. I thought that is so typical of this show. And then finally, Groot and the Great Prophecy, not my favorite. I can see where they were going with this one, but I really think having the Watcher just narrate everything was incredibly unneeded. It was almost like, this is the finale. We have to have a special guest star for this one because we had Rocket last season. Let's have the Watcher from What If, and it just did not gel for me. I honestly think if the Watcher had not been there, or if the Watcher had not said anything the entire time, it would have been fine. But to me, the Watcher just simply telegraphed all the jokes. Like, oh, look, Groot is stepping over lava. If he drops the seed in the lava, the seed will be destroyed. Yes, we know. We can see. Shut up. He should be called the Talker and not the Watcher. Because if you watched anything with him, he'd never shut up, and you'd just be like, I don't want to watch anything with you. Overall, I'm going to use the words again. I Am Groot is cute. It's harmless. Nothing very deep, but it takes like 40 minutes to binge the entire season. I'm going to give it a thumbs up. It's worth it.
There you go. Thumbs up. Again, all right. Well, I'm going to give you my opinion on I Am Groot. Look, I'm going to be really honest with you. I Am Groot is derivative, but I'm not saying that it's too negative because it's derivative of Warner Brother cartoons, and that's the idea, to give a short snippet, little comedy thing. I'm thinking of that thing from Ice Age when they did a Scrat, wasn't it?
Scrat.
They did a whole heap of little shorts, and it does echo that quite a lot. But like you, I'll quickly go through some of the episodes and what I liked about it. Yes, the whole emotional, he finds an egg and he does his best to become a mother, even though he realizes parenthood sucks and he doesn't want to be it by the end of it. Groot noses around is kind of funny. It makes no sense, but funny that he got a nose and he was able to smell. Very cute. And these are all cute, aren't they? Groot Snow Day had the biggest threat in the entire series because I didn't know how he was going to get out of that one point because that robot seemed pretty tough to beat, but he does it in the end. Groot Sweet Treat is the episode of the entire season because it is wonderful and completely on brand, and within the Guardians Galaxy universe, there would be a ship just, devoted for an ice cream. And the fact that Groot shows his true nature in the end by causing a massive crash just to get his ice cream is also very on brand. So I like that as well. Yeah, the Watcher thing's really interesting, and it did leave a bit of a bad taste in my mouth, only because that's a character that holds great gravitas in the comic books, and we've only seen little bits of it and been used really well in the What If series, but really it's a disservice to this character in here, and it's a bit sad. I love Jeffrey Wright. I would love to see him a live action, The Watcher, in one of the films. But yeah, there you go. So overall, it is cute. I did smile and look like that. But I'm going to say it, Jace. This is definitely the Bear of Apathy, and I went over.
Shame! Shame on you. Shame on your family. Your family.
Yeah, well, I care as much as the koala does. All right, we got over it. We got an I Am Groot. And
now we can go to your last segments that you're so.
But before we do, maybe we'll just pop into the comments here.
Oh, okay.
He wants to know what part of Australia I'm from.
Don't
well, you're from Melbourne.
It's a trap.
I'm from Adelaide, mate. So I know you guys don't like us too much, but there you go. We love everybody here, though. So I'm glad you're from Melbourne. Beautiful city, beautiful part of the world.
In Melbourne's defense, we in the United States have never heard of Adelaide.
Yes,
yeah.
That is
so
very
we don't
fair.
Even know
there's
you
a
exist.
reason. There's a reason. That's why we love the Wonder Woman film here so much, because we treat Adelaide like what's it called? Etheria?
Themyscira.
Themyscira, yeah.
Themyscira.
Adelaide's like Themyscira.
Did they film that there?
Sorry?
Did they film that there?
No, I'm just saying we try to hide it.
Oh, okay.
No, they didn't film
Okay, for a second there, I was like, oh, Adelaide actually has some kind of...
No,
never mind.
The last big blockbuster Hollywood film they filmed in Adelaide was 2021's Mortal Kombat. Enough said.
Which is never mind. It's 2021. Never mind. I got excited for a minute. I thought you were talking about the 96 version.
The 96, which is legendary. No, I'm talking about the first 10 minutes were awesome in that film, but the rest of it. So,
yeah,
I had a friend that was in the movie. So
if they would have just rolled the credits after that first scene, I'd have been happy.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm lying. I'd be like, "Where's the rest of the movie?" Which I'm also lying because it was for free on HBO Max, and then they're just like, "Why is it losing money?"
Oh yeah, did it not get a theatrical release because of
It got a
COVID,
theatrical release, but they released it on HBO Max at the same time, and then they're
That's
like, "Our
right.
movies are not making money.
Yeah.
Why?"
Why? Yeah, I remember that. All right, Jace, that does it in for that normal kind of time segment. Oh no, we have one more time segment, and that's the segment we call.
I know I say it every show, but I just adore that graphic so much. It's just that
Well,
is
you know
the
me,
that is
Jason, one for
the
subtlety.
definition of excess right there, and I
Yeah.
love it.
That's what we're all about here. Now, this is interesting because we're going to pitch you guys on stuff that you should be or shouldn't be watching, correct? This is what the
Yes.
segment's about. And I'm going to go first this time because I've decided here, Jace, because I'm bringing Australia to the table on this show, right? I'm representing my country. So I think it's time that we start talking about some great Australian films or just Australian films in general. And so this week, I'm going to introduce the world. If you have seen it, you're a legend. If you haven't, you need to watch it. And that's a film made back in 1984 called Razorback. So I'm going to give you a 2-minute review on why you need to be watching Razorback. Basically, Razorback is Jaws in the outback. It's about a giant wild boar killing and consuming people. Sounds ridiculous, but it's in the great hands of a fantastic director called Russell Mulcahy. And you may know him as the director of Highlander. And also some films of Ricochet. He also did Highlander too, but we'll let that one go. The reason I say that, this film is hyper stylistic and very, very tension-filled. It's a wonderfully made film and certainly still holds up today. It's about, of course, back in the 80s, if you made an Australian film, you had to bring an American actor over. So we brought Gregory Harrison, bit of a, maybe not your tier A actor, but he comes down as a wildlife expert, coming to study some animals in the outback, finds himself in a bit of trouble, and then the town is being attacked by this giant wild boar. It sounds nuts. It is nuts, but all in the best way. You can find this on Amazon Prime. Check it out. It's a great Saturday night movie to watch with your friends. It's got a lot going for it. It's lit beautifully. It's acted well. And again, directed by someone who was just at the start of his career, and you can see his talent shining through. In fact, Jason, based upon this movie, is how he got the job for Highlander. So it's extremely impressive. I don't know if you've seen it. Don't know who's seen it out there, but get onto it. You won't be disappointed. It holds up, and it deserves the first choice I've made looking at Aussie films that you may not have heard of. Razorback, get on it. That's where I'm finishing it. Have you seen that?
It sounds like Cocaine Bear.
It does a bit. It does a bit, minus the cocaine, Jace. But I really think you would love it. And
PCP pig.
Yes. It's crazy, you know.
Crack
Certainly,
boar.
it's in that era of the 80s when we did things like horror, we went weird.
Okay, tell me at the end of the movie, whenever all the dead bodies are all over town, somebody turns to the camera and says, "Still think drugs are cool?"
No, but I will say, without spoiling it, the demise of the animal, because is wonderful. So
y'all blow it up, don't you? You blow it up. I can see it in my head.
Nah,
you're
thinking American. You need to think Aussie about how they do him in. That's what you need.
He dies of alcohol poisoning.
Yeah, he swore too much. He had exploded. All right, Jace. That's my pitch for the week of sudden death. What's your pitch?
Okay, so as a fan of old school science fiction, we recently had a return of a property in a very strange way that was unexpected. So I'm going to be talking about Babylon 5, The Road Home.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that. No one ever listens to Zathras. Why does no one listen to Zathras? Freaking listen to Zathras.
It's animated.
It is animated. So start that clock. Let me talk about it. So the road home is a lot of fun if you're an old fan of Babylon 5. I enjoyed 3 out of the 5 seasons of Babylon 5. I was a big fan of it. I've missed seeing Sheridan and Ivanova and that big spinning sausage in space. Watching this movie is like wrapping yourself up in nostalgia like a blanket. I would be remiss if I didn't bring up the animation, which is hideous. The animation is hideous whenever you're looking at a person, but whenever you're looking at anything that is not a person, this opens up the world of Babylon 5 in a way we've never seen before. And if you enjoy that look, great, enjoy it. Just be prepared for some dead-eyed CGI video game characters. It just doesn't look good. And listen, I know Straczynski was given like $20 to produce this thing. That's why I've been calling it Babylon 5er. But at some point, a creator really has to ask themselves if resurrecting a property is worth it. And I mean this from the heart. I actually really did like this show. But watching this movie was like it's like coming home and your dead family members are now being played by strangers who are wearing your dead family members' clothes. And I know that sounds ghoulish, but we've lost so many actors off of this show that every time one of them showed up and had a different voice, it was jarring. It was jarring and it was disturbing. I feel like Babylon 5 wanted to do a victory lap with this movie, but it felt unearned because they've already had their victory lap. They had their finale, and it was a great finale. This movie is just having a very difficult time justifying its own existence. It feels like a half-hearted reunion special for a television series that already had a perfect finale. Only half of the cast didn't show up because they are unavailable. I just feel like it just did not do enough to justify its right to exist all alone in the night. So I'm going to have to give this one the bear of apathy, and that hurts.
Well, that's good that you were supposed to pitch this. I didn't even rate my last thing, but you clearly know what I thought.
That's because you're responsible.
Yep, there you go. But it's the bear of apathy. I am not a Babylon 5 fan. I know. You're going to kick me off the stream any second. So
no,
I'm sad to hear.
Listen, I get
fan,
it. I get it. I do get it. It's something you either love or something that you don't love. And I like I said, I loved 3 out of the 5 seasons.
Okay.
And
well, one day we'll have
Babylon
a discussion what the issue was.
There's Babylon 5 people screaming at the screen right now. No, it was perfect. No, it wasn't. it was blurry, and the special effects look like a Windows 95 screensaver. Let's be perfectly honest.
I love the title though, Babylon 5.
Babylon 5.
That's brilliant.
Babylon.
All right,
5.
but you know what? You've thrown a bit of negativity our way, Jace.
I did. I didn't mean to. I'm sorry.
Let's end the show in the best way possible by you giving us a hidden gem.
So, you need someone to fix your pipes, do you?
Yes, I do. Are you going to fix my pipes?
That's what that music sounds like.
I thought you were writing the sequel to Super Mario Brothers there.
Well, you know, there is a Nintendo actually owns the adult movie that was made off of Super Mario Brothers. They bought it so no one would ever see it. So Nintendo, wow. It's actually in Nintendo's vault somewhere. I think it's funny. I don't want to say the name because there are kids watching, but yeah, there's
it's
a naughty.
Dirty.
There's a it's a me, Mario. Hello, princess. I got your extra spicy sausage right here.
All right. Well, okay, let's do, but this, believe it or not, you are still talking about a Nintendo property.
I am, and so nice of you to realize that I was segging that way and not just, will you shut up and just let me. So I'm here to talk about something that you probably have not heard of, but I think more people need to, because this has been on the internet for a couple of years now, courtesy of Matthew Gafford, who, if you were one of the original followers of E-Bomb's World a long time ago, he went by Finnick Fox and he did a bunch of silly, dumb videos where he made all these faces at the camera. And he's one of those people that you kind of disappeared into the sands of time, but then he reappeared because he made an animated series. He originally called it Star Fox, but Nintendo was like, no. So he called it A Fox in Space. And this is fantastic, because Gafford has animated this series in the vein of heavy metal and the rock and roll and the great unsung cartoons of the 1970s. Many times he has actually animated this frame by frame. Episode 2, for example, I believe he worked on it for almost 3 years, and he would do live shows on Discord where he would just sit there and animate it over and over and over again. And it was fun to watch. Just the dedication of this man to this property is inspiring. And I really think that if Nintendo took notice of this in a positive way and not the "we're going to sue you" way, I honestly think that they had, if Gafford had the budget and the support of Nintendo, he could turn this into something unique and beautiful, because
Jace,
his episodes are just great.
The Star Fox as a property, I always felt was underutilized.
It totally is. Yes.
And I'm actually a big fan of just Dinosaur Planet, the actual one where you're.
Oh, I know which one you're talking about. That's called Star Fox Adventures here. Yes.
Star Fox Adventures, exactly. It was on the GameCube, and they kind of went with a Zelda, very basic Zelda format.
Yes.
Like Ocarina of Time kind of.
I liked it, though.
I loved that game.
Yeah.
I loved that game. I loved all the Star Fox games. And they did a really great job of building universe, so it's thrilling to hear that someone's taking all that kind of lore that they'd already built and made a great show. How many eps, Jace?
There's only 2. This is a very slow burn between episodes, but totally worth it. I am just enjoying it so much. I don't know when the first
Where
episode
can we
came
go
out.
to watch it?
They're on YouTube.
Brilliant.
Just type in "A Fox in Space" and you can watch it. Plus, he has a bunch of little shorts that he made out of it, and they're just all just super enjoyable. Nintendo,
and his name is Matt Gaffman. Did you say his name?
His name is Matthew Gafford.
Gafford.
And it's dark and edgy without being, edgelordy. It's just good content. It's entertaining, and I want to see where he's going to go with this. And I'm just afraid that without the support, we're never going to see that, because it does take him so long to animate this, because they're animated beautifully.
Well, that gives us, we can do something about this, Jace. We will go watch, support the guy's content, give him a like, subscribe. Hopefully he can keep making them. So I can't wait to check him out. That's fantastic.
And it's awesome because, in my opinion, Starwolf, who's the antagonist, is the best character on the show. I just love the guy.
Brilliant. Absolutely fantastic. Well, that kind of wraps it up. Let's go through a few of the last minute comments. Damn right, Aussie. Yep, we're taking over, slowly trying to invade Texas.
Kangaroo, emu war.
Well, one day we'll take Texas, because you know what Australians are. We're British Texans. You ever heard
yes,
that?
I know. Australia is the trailer park of the world. We know. We are brothers. Yes. Only thing is, you bring your trailer park to Texas, you're going to get hit by a tornado.
Someone's a Nintendo fan here because he loves your Yoshi in your background.
I have to. There we go. This little guy came home with me from Japan, and just to show you, there's the Japanese writing right there.
Oh, that's awesome!
This was the funniest thing, because I took a subway, got off at the wrong station, and I was waiting for somebody, and there was an arcade in there, so I thought I'll go in there and kill some time. And this guy comes out of a crane machine, drops into my lap, and I pick it up and I go, oh! And there's about probably 10 teenagers in there, all Japanese, and instantly whenever I pull it out, they all go, oh! And they all start clapping, and I'm like,
you got street cred.
I'm a freaking legend here. So yes, came home with me. He's my baby.
Yeah, I'm going to tell a bit of a background story about you in Japan. It was a bit of an ongoing joke that I was throwing at Jason, because going to Japan, no one would disturb. No one's going to recognize you in Japan. No one. Like, you're on your own, mate. You're no one. And literally, I think he landed, and within 2 hours of him landing, I get this live call from Jason going, no one's going to recognize me, huh? And there's a couple of Americans then going, hey.
He's famous!
Yes.
I hung out with those two guys for like 2
funny.
days. We became Japan buddies, so. Jason, awesome. Connor, I miss you guys.
Well, hopefully they're watching. And please
hopefully they are,
guys.
Yes.
So, all right, guys.
Connor's sitting there going, do I know him?
All right, well, that ends episode 3, our first live show of If You Don't Agree, You're Wrong. And of course, we would love you guys to, if you're enjoying it, like, subscribe, share, all that type of thing. If you have suggestions of shows that maybe we should be watching, or any Aussies out there, you got some Aussie films you think I need to be talking about, or any recommendations for Jace, don't forget to comment, all that kind of thing.
You know what we ought to do? We ought to put Razorback on the VHS vault.
It will appear on the VHS vault now. You've just dropped another thing, the VHS vault.
It's back, baby!
It's back. You can go check it out right now on the Jason Roy Gaston YouTube channel. We're back with A Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors. Fantastic movie, and it was great to get back and have a chat to you about that series, Jace.
Welcome to prime time, Jace.
Yeah. And on Saturday, too, in American time, we'll be dropping our new episode of The Power of Jace Gold, which also returns exclusively on the Jason Roy Gaston channel. All right, guys, thanks for watching, and we will catch you guys next week on this crazy little show called If You Don't Agree, You're Wrong. Am I right, Jace?
You're wrong.